Welcome. In this educational slide presentation, we will look at a number of illustrations of illegal holds as we all prepare for the 2021 wrestling season. Recognition of skills is essential. We'd like to begin by thanking Steve Long for his continued work illustrating a variety of wrestling situations. And please note that the NFHS office has recognized Steve's work and has commissioned him for a number of his illustrations that they will send and share with all the states around the nation. Thank you, Steve, and congratulations. Many of the situations may start as potentially dangerous, proceed through being illegal or possibly unnecessarily rough, and can ultimately become a flagrant act. All local associations should discuss these illegal skills, what to look for, where the referee should be positioned, and the local officers and the rule interpreter should all take part in educating their local members. Remember, safety is paramount. The 3 R's are reading, recognizing, and reacting. All need to read and study the rule book, case manual, and the Green Book, which is our Ohio Procedures Manual, along with all other NFHS publications. Recognizing wrestling skills. Keeping up on new wrestling skills that our high school wrestlers are coming with each year, along with dangerous situations that you may see as the wrestling match continues. And then reacting. When you see a dangerous situation, an illegal skill, you've got to react immediately to blow your whistle and then make the right call. Let's get started with the rules number 711. A slam is a lift and return your opponent with unnecessary force. The slam is when the defending wrestler is returned from the crown of one shoulder, top of the head, around to the crown of the other shoulder. It can also be unnecessarily rough. It does not need to be returned to the head or the shoulders. Any return or forceful return is an unnecessary roughness act. These returns can be from the top, bottom, or neutral position and should be called without hesitation. Rule 712 will illustrate a straight back supplé or a straight back salto. Here, the supplé is a chest to back lift and return. The chest of the offensive wrestler against the back of the defensive wrestler. The offensive wrestler will clasp hands, step in, lift, and arch straight over the top, and return the opponent blindly to his head, neck, and shoulders. This is dangerous and is an illegal move in scholastic wrestling. Although the supplé and salto alike are legal in Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling, in our scholastic style, it is an illegal technique. The salto is a chest-to-chest lift and return. You can see both wrestlers are facing each other in the top illustration, and the attacking wrestler will once again clasp hand, step in, lift and arch straight over the top, and once again return the opponent blindly to his head, neck, and shoulders. We should try to stop these immediately as potentially dangerous if you're seeing it occur, but it is an illegal skill, and once again, the supplé and salto may be legal in freestyle and Greco, but not in our scholastic style. An intentional drill or forceful fallback is illegal when the defensive wrestler forcefully drives the offensive wrestler straight to his back, where he is blindly landing on his back. That is illegal. This may be done from a variety of positions, but it is illegal, or it once again can be unnecessary roughness. 714, when the defensive wrestler is on his feet and he's trying to step away to get an escape, and he's peeling only the thumb, 1, 2, or 3 fingers of a hand on the offensive wrestler, it is illegal. Basically, it's peeling fingers against the knuckle joint. (715) Other illegal holds include a double underhook snapback from the standing position, a hammerlock when the arm across the back is above a right angle being pushed up into the shoulder blades, or a twisting hammerlock when the hammerlock is straight across the back and is now being pulled away from the back. It is illegal. Here's the snapback. We should try to stop this immediately if you recognize it. But here you'll see the offensive wrestler will underhook both armpits. He'll step in and bump out the hips and lift and draw that defensive wrestler straight to the mat on his butt. This can compress the spine and do damage to the lower spine in the lumbar area and is illegal. We'll look at a number of twisting hammerlocks next. Here you can see the basic action of a hammerlock that starts out across the back, and now the offensive wrestler lifts the arm away from the back, and the twisting action actually occurs on the shoulder joint and on the elbow. Shoulders and elbows don't rotate in the direction the offensive wrestler is trying to move the arm. It is illegal and dangerous. Here's another form of the twisting hammerlock. The Blair Tilt, as we've called it, is when the offensive wrestler has a hammerlock across the back. It's legal at 90 degrees. Will step over and underhook the far armpit and then pushes off and pulls his opponent over into near fall position. But to help that opponent want to go over into near fall, he will pull the arm in the hammerlock away from the body, creating enough pain into the shoulder and elbow that he'll want to roll over into near fall. The important part of the twisting hammerlock is that the referee needs to be in proper position to see what's happening back there. If the arm is not straight across the back and it's being pulled away from the back, it is illegal. Here's a backside tip. The offensive wrestler will draw the arm out from under, slide it across the back, reach over the body, and put a half Nelson on the back side. And then as he pressures the half Nelson under, you can see in the bottom illustration, as he's being tipped under, the arm that is supposed to be across the back is being either pulled up into an illegal hammerlock, or it is being pulled away from the body, making it a twisting hammerlock. The referee's position is important. Next, we'll look at headlocks, and we'll also look at the head scissors, and in a few slides, we'll look at the draping sash. Let's start by recognizing all headlocks are potentially dangerous to begin with. In the illustration on the left, you can see that the headlock has the offensive wrestler's forearm directly against the carotid artery. There is no defensive arm inside the lock of hands. It is an illegal headlock. With the illustration on the right, you can see the forearm once again directly across the side of the neck and the carotid artery. And although you see the defensive wrestler's hand inside the clasp hand of the circle, it needs to be from the elbow above up to the shoulder to help prevent a carotid artery blockout. These are illegal forms of a headlock. Here's another illegal headlock, and you really need to look close. Look at the clasp hand, and look where the arm is encircled. The defensive wrestler's arm is vined through the crotch of the elbow. It is not inside the clasp hand. And notice again the forearm and hands are clasped right against the carotid artery. Illegal headlock. These are legal headlocks, and once again let me point out, notice the side of the neck and the forearm of the offensive wrestler. He does not have his forearm closing off the carotid artery, and that's because the arm is completely encircled. The illustration on the left, the arm and shoulder are both inside the clasp hand, and the illustration on the right, he has trapped the elbow, and both the elbow and shoulder are inside the clasp hand. So any part of the arm from the elbow up to the shoulder, or the elbow alone trapped and inside the circle, allow the headlock to continue and are forms of a legal headlock. The straight head scissors is illegal. Obviously, any twisting action or clamping action can injure the neck. The muscles in the thigh and upper part of the legs are a lot more powerful than the muscles in the neck. Remember, safety is paramount. Let's continue with Rule 7. Next illustrations we'll look at are a full Nelson, any holds that put pressure against the throat or carotid artery, as we've just seen with headlocks, a twisting knee lock, a key lock, or the overhead double armbar. The full Nelson is illegal because it puts downward pressure on the upper part of the spine, the cervical area. It forces the head and chin down to the chest, can do damage to the spine, and safety is once again a major concern. The hands do not need to touch. The hands can be on the ear guards, the side of the cheeks. They can be on the neck. It doesn't matter. They all can put pressure downward on the head and neck. Here is a form of a chokehold. Notice the triangle created when one arm comes under in a claw fashion, the other arm over the top of the back of the shoulder, clasping his own forearm. A triangle is created and both carotid arteries are being pinched off and can choke the wrestler out. Here is a form of a Merkel, which is a backside Merkel because the side headlock is not on the near side of the offensive wrestler. Notice in the top illustration, the offensive wrestler in blue has a side headlock, but he's reaching over the back and has the backside arm encircled with the headlock. He then will flip over the top and try to pull his opponent over with him. When the body is trailing, the arm is across the throat, and the pressure and weight of the body can create that choking action and is dangerous for the defensive wrestler. Here is another side headlock on the near side. This is called a Collat. Here the side headlock starts reaching across on the near side, clasping hands on the far side of the neck, right under the ear, and both forearms under the throat and on the back of the head are pinched together. And now when the offensive wrestler cups the head under and tries to forcefully roll him over, the arm across the throat underneath is blocking off the throat and is a form of a chokehold. Once again, we've got to say, the referee's position is all important to recognize these. Another form of a choke or pressure against the throat is an assassin. It's a form or a variation of the collat, and here you can see that the offensive wrestler has the head blocked by his armpit, will not let the wrestler's head come down to the mat, and thereby pressuring the arm that's across the throat and forcing the head down into that throat, making this illegal. Let's talk about the sash now. Here, we call it a sash because one leg is underneath the armpit. When we're under the armpit, we are around the tube of the body, and a scissor on the body is legal. So this draping sash is legal. If the arm were upward, it would be illegal, whether it be a scissor across the throat when the arm is raised up above his head and the legs are across the throat in a scissor fashion or in a figure 4. And this would also be illegal if in the sash, the foot of the offensive wrestler would slide upward into the crotch of the knee, making it a figure 4, because a figure 4 on the head or a figure 4 on the body is illegal. So let's keep both the figure 4 and the scissors straight in our minds. A wrestler may scissor the body, may not scissor the head. When the body is scissored, we still need to be conscious of the scissors being used for punishment and can be unnecessarily rough. That offensive wrestler may not figure 4 the head or may not scissor the head. Here's a twisting knee lock in the most basic form. Notice the defensive wrestler on his hands and knees as the offensive wrestler is pulling the toe and the foot outward, twisting the ankle, but more importantly, twisting the knee outward. The knee does not rotate in that fashion, and that's what makes this a twisting knee lock, because of that pressure applied in that twisting action on the knee. Here's one of Steve's most recent illustrations of the twisting knee lock. Here, the top wrestler in red, the offensive wrestler, reaches back for an ankle breakdown. As he lifts the ankle up, he'll slide up and trap that ankle in the groin of his body, between his abdomen and his upper thigh. And as he's being driven down to the mat, in the lower illustration, you can see that the foot is now being pressed outward beyond the outside of the hip, and the shoe is being pointed outward. These are all signs of a twisting knee lock. Here's a key lock, also known as a double wrist lock. A key lock is when the offensive wrestler traps the arm, is blocking the elbow, which creates a hyperextension of the elbow, and this is illegal. As we move along through 715, locking hands behind the back in a double arm bar from the front, neck wrenches, the front quarter Nelson with the chin, a leg block, which has a few other names, and an over scissors when pressure is applied against the knee joint, which may cause a hyperextended knee, is also illegal. As we look at the illustrations, here's the front double arm bar. You can see the hands are locked in the middle of the back underneath both armpits as that defending wrestler's head is blocked in the chest of the offensive wrestler in blue. The head being blocked by the chest puts that downward pressure forces the chin to the chest and can injure the upper part of the spine. This is illegal when the hands are in the center and the head is blocked. If the offensive wrestler were to slide his hands to one side directly under an armpit, he would be stepping to the other side, allowing the head to slide freely under his armpit, and the head would not be pinched off. Here's the front quarter Nelson when the chin is locked. Once the front quarter Nelson is applied, then the offensive wrestler slides his arm down so his hand can grip the chin. This is illegal by application. We do not wait for any action of the offensive wrestler to turn the opponent into near fall. This is illegal by application. Another form of a neck wrench can occur when the defensive wrestler is trying to counter a takedown and reaches back to grab the chin while the offensive wrestler is in on a leg attack. Rotating the neck on its axis forcibly can injure the upper part of the spine, and once that neck is rotated, that is illegal, and it is a neck wrench, also known as a chin whip. Here we see another possible form of the chin wrench, but it's also a knee block as well and can be damaging for a variety of reasons. Certainly countering the takedown and reaching back to grab the chin and then wrenching it is the chin wrench. But here you'll also see in step number 3, the offensive wrestler reaching back and grabbing the upper part of the body, pulling the wrestler backwards straight to his back. He's also stepping across the knee and tripping the defensive wrestler, so he is landing blindly and forcibly directly to his back. This is certainly potentially dangerous. All referees should try to catch it first, but it may be illegal as it finishes. Once again, being in position to see everything is important. Here's the leg block. It's also known as a broomstick or a cutback. Here the attacking wrestler has a single leg, as the defending wrestler in red reaches in and hooks a tight whizzer and then jumps his free leg behind both legs of the attacking wrestler. This isolates all the weight of both wrestlers on the ankle and can damage the knee or ankle of that attacking wrestler. Knees don't bend inward like that once that pressure is applied. Here's the over scissors. It's trapping the back heel. It is illegal when pressure is applied, but here in Ohio, we stop this potentially dangerous immediately, because once a figure 4 is on a leg and the knee is trapped and locked, once the free leg of the offensive wrestler comes over the back heel with his instep and traps that back heel, it's again a hyperextension of the knee. And if pressure is allowed to continue, the defensive wrestler trying to roll or counter, the damage to the knee can already be done. So we stop a potentially dangerous and do not let any injury occur. Next up is bending or twisting or forcing the head or any limb beyond its normal range of movement, which we have already discussed in numerous slides already. The back bow, figure 4 around the body, the head, or both legs, and a chicken wing when pressure is forward, parallel to the long axis of the body. Here we have a heel trap right to the back, The defensive wrestler is already broken down, and the offensive wrestler in red traps the heel to the buttocks. Let's start and remember that a heel trap to the buttocks, when held for 5 seconds, is a stalling call. So that should be stopped immediately for a warning or penalty point for stalling if it's a second stalling occurrence. If it's allowed to continue and the offensive wrestler scoops under the knee and figure fours the knee, that pinches the knee closed beyond its normal range of movement. And then if he comes up to the face and tries to cross face and pull the face around to turn his opponent, you can see in the top illustration how the back is being bent in the direction it does not normally move. So this is then now a damaging part to the lower back and is a form of a back bow. Here are the banana splits. Remember, any splitting action of both legs and hip joints is illegal. One of the knees must come forward directly up to the ear guard and is not allowed to go outside the range of the ear guard. The hip joints do not allow legs to both bend outward in that fashion. Here's another form of a hyperextension possibility. As we've talked earlier, now we're going to come under the chest and abdomen. The offensive wrestler is going to reach over and clasp the elbow on the far side, grab the wrist, and as he pulls the arm in and tries to drive over with his chest, that's applying pressure against the normal range of movement of the elbow. This has had a number of names to it as well. Called a corkscrew, I've heard it called a Tulsa, and also called a cookie. Here's a look at the basic back bow. Remember, the offensive wrestler on top can cross face, lower his chest, and try to drive over for near fall. But if he reaches back for the foot, the shoe, the ankle, and pulls that upward behind the back of the defensive wrestler, either pulling the foot upward to the head, driving the head down to the foot, or both actions at the same time, trying to pull the foot and head together, create this back bow situation. Here's a head figure 4, and the spine does not bend that way. This does not matter if an arm is included or not by application. This is illegal. The head scissors is also illegal and would not matter if the arm is included. Both these skills are illegal. Should be called immediately without hesitation, and the referee does need to be in position to see this action. Here is a body figure 4, which is illegal. Whether the top wrestler comes back behind the knee and traps the knee or not, once the foot across the abdomen goes directly into the crotch of the knee, that is what makes it a figure 4. If that foot were slid down the calf, or certainly down to the ankle, that's what makes it a scissors on the body and would be a legal technique. Here's a chicken wing. When the chicken wing is applied and is driven across the back, is legal. But when the chicken wing is applied and the pressure is driven forward with the long axis of the body directly over the shoulder, it is illegal. And once again, it is all because of the normal range of motion of the shoulder joint. The arm cannot rotate completely around, and that is what puts pressure on that shoulder, making this form of a chicken wing illegal. When the hands are in the eyes or raking the eyes, that is illegal. Any hold used for punishment is illegal. And any hold when pressure is exerted over the opponent's mouth, nose, throat, neck that restricts breathing or circulation are all illegal. Many offensive wrestlers like a power half. So he can have a half Nelson on one side and place his forearm on the neck, lock his hands, and try to drive over for a power half. But forcefully driving the forearm, and especially driving the elbow, directly into the back of the neck and the upper spine is a strike to the neck. This is, at minimum, illegal. Certainly it's unnecessary roughness. But by rule, any form of striking may be deemed a flagrant act. So this may be one of those that becomes flagrant in the referee's opinion. And again, she needs to be in position to see it. As we get ready to conclude, a backflip from a standing position is illegal. A rear standing double knee kickback, and one of the newest, the Nelson Cradle, is also an illegal hold. Here, the double knee kickback, when the defensive wrestler stands and the offensive wrestler captures the body and jumps up with both feet behind the knee on the upper part of the shin. He can jump in with the bottoms of his shoes, the instep of his shoes, his shins. The intent of the rule is to protect that defensive wrestler's knees. And any part of the offensive wrestler jumping up and into the knee and the very upper part of the calf can kick out the knees and do serious damage to the knees. This is illegal. And here the Nelson Cradle is a half Nelson on one side. The offensive wrestler reaches back and pulls up the far knee and either clasp hands behind the neck or even can go underneath the armpit and then clasp hands behind the neck. We call it a Nelson Cradle because it starts as a half Nelson, locks the hands as a cradle, but the crotch of the knee acts as the other armpit and puts downward force and pressure on the neck and is a form of a full Nelson, illegal. Rule 716 protects the offensive wrestler. When the offensive wrestler applies a legal hold, and either in the act of wrestling or the defensive wrestler forces it to become illegal, we stop the match and call it potentially dangerous. The offensive wrestler did not apply an illegal hold. It was turned illegal by the defensive wrestler's action. So we call it potentially dangerous and restart the wrestlers in the proper position. Let's remember the 3 R's: read, recognize, and react. Read situations, recognize the dangerous situations, and react promptly and accordingly to stop any injury from occurring. As the match official, you are ultimately responsible for the safety of both wrestlers. Thank you very much for taking part in our presentation, and we'd like to remind all our veteran officials to pay it forward. Remember, you can thank those who helped you by helping younger officials today. Pay it forward. Thank you very much, and have a good season.